This is like watching the space shuttle launch. Hey friends, Ethan Fogg here with some friends. Here with Carrie Bucas, a little bit off stage. She's a little shy, you know, for those of you who know her. Christina Stabatis is my board chair. Chris Cole in the distance, he's our producer of today's production. You know, working in the control booth at the far end of the table. And I should say, with our faces uncovered, we're all roughly 6 feet apart at this lovely long feast table at the Rose Tavern here in Canandaigua at the Lake House. We're grateful for their willingness to help us get this crazy idea, a place to live. Because even though a lot of tonight's production is pre-recorded, it's important to us, as it would be any other year, that we spend part of this evening together around the table, connecting on what's happened to us over the course of whichever year. This year's admittedly been a little bit more to talk about, I suppose, than some, and to enjoy some nice food and some nice beverage. We're going to talk in a couple of minutes about, we're asking viewers, folks like you, who've joined us for dinner, ideally if you've reserved your place at your table, to take pictures of your food and beverage and your reserved sign, because that's your ticket to win, and post it in the Facebook stream that's happening on the Chamber's Facebook page. We're going to be giving away 2 different $25 restaurant certificates to a member restaurant of your choice. You know, it's your dinner. Have it where you want. And so yummy. And in the meantime, we're enjoying some pretty fun stuff here. Wow, I don't know what y'all are having at home. Some takeout. I've been hearing interesting stories around town already about some people's takeout plans. And we're enjoying ricotta toast and, oh my heavens, bluefin tuna carpaccio. I grew up in Seneca County, but fairly strong Italian presence there, so I think I'm pretty confident in my pronunciation. So, long story made too long, we're down here in the control booth. We're making sure that all the dials and knobs and everything are in the right place to have the highest quality experience for our friends tonight. Because on it's a cool night. I can think of all sorts of things I should be singing, like "Baby, It's Cold Outside" and all that stuff. But I'll tell you what, 15 degrees maybe probably by now, not to mention that brisk wind chill. Some areas are going to see 35-mile-an-hour winds tonight. But the good news is I don't expect we'll experience them in here when they bring our dinner. So, control room, do we think we're
about 2 minutes? The emails.
Oh, man. Wow. Welcome, everyone. No pushing, no shoving. There's room for everybody. That's arguably the coolest part. None of us were thrilled when we realized a lot of our events had to go virtual. But one of the things that is a defining difference is capacity. That in the past, this event has seated about 300 people, and it's been amazing. And I wish that, you know, I do miss that magical noise of 300 people having a good time in one room. We'll get it back. In the meantime, a luxury is that we're not limited, and we're not forced to go outside when it's 10 degrees, because sometimes looking nicer means wearing less. For me, it usually means adding another layer. But anyway, we hope you're comfortable. We hope you got home safely from work if you're still unpacking, perhaps that lovely bag of takeout. And so without any further, well, maybe a little further ado, I'm getting a nod from system administration over here. I think we're ready to go. All right. Final call, friends. If you have a home printer and you haven't done it already, I really am going to recommend that you print a table tent, because it's your ticket to win a $25 restaurant voucher to a chamber member food and beverage operation of your choice. I welcome folks to browse our member list to see what that selection might look like, but you can't win if you don't print. So if you didn't do it at work today, and if you don't have a printer, maybe dial your neighbors. You can contribute during the event. But the way this works, for those of you who may still be joining the call, is if you have a reserve sign, we're asking that in some way or another, you create a little vignette, tell a story with pictures, including the reserved sign because you are part of tonight's dinner with us. Create that vignette with the food and the beverage. And when you post it on our Facebook page, please tag the restaurant or the market it came from and tag the chamber if you're not putting it on the chamber site. We'd really rather it be on our site. But the point being, we want to be able to find it because then we can enter you into that pool of contributors we'll pull from randomly for the restaurant credit. So because I've reached that age, I need my glasses to read my notes. Okay, we've done that. We've done that. So we're getting stuff done already, folks. That's pretty exciting. In a few minutes, we're actually going to launch a pre-recorded piece that has folks from the state, the city, and the town, all the folks that we know, but have some things to share with us, perhaps that we haven't heard before, or if nothing else, some of us haven't seen these people in a long time. So we're charmed that they were able to make time in their lives to record some comments. Some of them we met in other places and did the recording, and others recorded it themselves. And but it's always a neat opportunity to kind of take stock, to get back in touch with what's happening around us. And as our recovery plans begin to unfold, to hear from some of these folks that are really connected to things in some ways differently than the chamber might be. A lot of these are public officials and have their fingers on the pulse of state and regional government. We're also going to hear from some leadership from the chamber, in addition to the board members that are here with me tonight in our intimate dinner for four. We're going to hear from past chair Karen Dwarzak, the 2021 board chair Sal Pitty, and also from Michelle Pedzik, who will be our board chair in 2022. All of them have important things to share, and we'll have perhaps a slightly different viewpoint in the positions they take, but that's the cool part. With over roughly 500 members in 6 counties, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of different views and opinions and talents among us, and that's the source of our strength. And without circus, bread is worth nothing. So we're excited. We're actually going to have some locally sourced quality musical entertainment as part of tonight's program. So I'm not going to give too much away, but I wanted folks to understand that, this isn't just, talking heads and dinner in your kitchen, because that's too much like Netflix. We wanted this to be a little bit more like, I don't know, a cross between, what are we thinking? Survivor and maybe an Agatha Christie movie, and here at this exotic hotel with not a lot of guests in it tonight. It's such a stylish background for a murder mystery, but that might be another occasion. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. I think we may have a new opportunity for 2021, and it was born here tonight, and you had front row seats. It's been an interesting year, speaking of events. Many of all of the performance venues we know and love have been shuttered. It's a word, we've learned a lot of words this year we didn't used to use much, like pandemic and shuttered venue. Some of those shuttered venues actually were willing and able to have us do some recordings on site. Some of the comments in tonight's program are recorded on location, really to remind us of the jewels that we have, even if our jewel box has been closed for a year, and to get us a few minutes with friends. All of the folks that we're going to be meeting in this recording later, they're friends of ours. They're part of what makes this community strong and vibrant and worth visiting for people from across the county or across the world. Other things we're going to talk about a little bit, and we're not going to belabor it because we don't want to live on the dark side. It's a year where we had some, it's a year that made memories, but maybe not ones we want to harken back to. But it also got us in touch with perhaps the basics for the first time in a long time. Got us back in touch with family, back in touch with hearth and home. Some people like me, I think it had been 2.5 years since I've cooked in my own kitchen until we were told we couldn't go back to work. So that's why I'm excited to be here tonight, as I'm not cooking tonight. And, you know, I suppose to a great extent, some of us may be rekindling old friendships, whether they be empowered by Zoom. I've reconnected with friends all over the country. And I've also redefined the rules of engagement with my partner. And I bet a lot of us have done the same thing. You know what I mean? The people we live with, we're living with them more than we have in a while. And we're taking care of business. Yes, exactly, exactly. And you know, we've missed a lot of traditions this year in chamber culture. Mixers that we're seeing 60 to 75 guests. Our Business Inspiration Awards, Athena and Alfresco, you know, all of those things were compelled to migrate to online. But we had them. We had a version of them. We kept their stories alive. Again, much like, you know, connecting with friends on Zoom. It doesn't make them any less your friend. And by connecting online for these major events, it reminds us that these events themselves are part of the fabric of our community and of the friendships that we develop and nurture and that we use for inspiration when we need new ideas. And perhaps we used many of those relationships and inspirations in 2020 on certain days just to be willing and able to get up and take the gym shorts off and dress for work if you weren't leaving the house. So part of what we managed to do, regardless of the circumstances, is we recognized people in 2020, folks who inspired us. Our last in-person event recognized Suzanne Kennedy for her Lifetime Achievement. We also recognized several firms at our Business Inspiration Awards. Folks, I should have that in front of me, but my mind isn't quite that big. Please visit our website, CanandaiguaChamber.com, and you're going to see all of our awards, all of our awardees, and yeah, oh, stealing some of our chairperson's thunder for later. But yes, good call, good call. Well, yes, new website, new brag book for the community on Canandaigua Magazine. All of these things really rolled out in the middle of a period when there were really no cars on the street. So, you know, part of, I'm not going to call it frustrating. We're excited that these new assets exist. But part of perhaps what took some of the excitement away from these launches, these watershed moments for us. New websites only happen about every 10 years in most businesses. And the same thing with a total redesign for a lifestyle magazine for this community was launched in the middle of, I think, phase 3. So no live music and no ribbon cutting when that came out. But there's stuff going on, and there continues to be forward movement. And just when I thought we had, you know, concluded what you're going to see in a little bit, locked up the last of strings and information and new ideas, I got a message that Alfresco FLX, our annual food and beverage symposium, our summit, was just awarded first place as virtual events go by a national agricultural marketing organization. Our presenting sponsor, 29 Design Studio, was the mastermind behind a lot of the way we messaged and transitioned what had been a very popular and successful in-person event, pivoted it completely online, and in the process wound up with guests from 6 states receiving the Alfresco FLX box full of Heron Hill wine and local chocolate and a sponsored edition of Summer in a Glass. So these are different versions of our 2020 lemonade recipe. When we, for you, for us, maybe this is the time to say out loud, because I am almost done, because you've got real stuff to watch here in a minute, that the chamber is, technically it's a league of businesses, but what are businesses? Businesses are really people, groups of people or individuals who do things and have lives and make decisions and affiliate with intent because they want to be with certain people and they want to be around certain ideas. So we're charmed that 500 businesses and literally thousands of employees call us their chamber. We're humbled by that because when you think about it, we too are a small business. I'm 50% of the staff, and there's the other 50% down there. And we do what we do because we're a small business and we believe in the power of banding small businesses together to get more done than any of us could individually, which is a perfect segue into part of the reason Carrie Book is here at the table. Hi, Carrie. Why Carrie Book is here at the table tonight is because she's tired of unpacking, because literally this week, the United Way of Ontario County joined the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce as essentially our first co-work resident. Call it what it is. Yes, golf clap all around. We're thrilled because our missions and our values and our friends and the people that need us, they're a lot of the same folks. So to be able to literally operate from the same home base. I mean, to be clear, we're not merging. That's not what this is about. What it's about is moving resources in a place that makes sense together, that solves more than it did when they were separate. So we're excited. We're already seeing differences. And we hope that to your comfort, some of y'all may come see us. I think you'll already see the difference and feel the difference. So going down my list, getting ready to launch the debut of the season. A reminder, please, if you haven't begun to do so already, we welcome images of your food and drink and your table tents. Let's see. Oh, important. I'm gonna draft in behind my comment about Carrie. While technically, I suppose you could say they are co-working with us, they are tenants in the space that many of you remember. Many of you have either served on our board or have had other business in our building. The United Way is sharing the space that you know with us because since, and some of you were on the board when it moved downtown from the A-frame. When it moved, the business model was significantly different. We were using an IBM Selectric typewriter to create monthly bills. So today's staffing pattern is different. The requirements of human capital in the business model are different. And with that difference came an abundance of unused office space. So United Way is helping us operationalize that office space. But what comes next is we've got about 2,200 to 2,400 square feet that's never been developed. And we are actively seeking, we've already done some preliminary communications around it. We're seeking a member of the chamber who has experience in launching and managing co-works. There has to be one or two out there somewhere. We need some help. We want to do this right the first time, and that takes talent and experience because we want to advance agendas. And well, agenda might even be a tough word, but we want to advance priorities that have been identified in several rooms at once. Whether those rooms be the local development corporation of which we're a partner, those priorities have also been identified in some of your boardrooms and corner offices and coffee shops. And that is to bring more business downtown. That is to operationalize vacant or dormant business space downtown. And that's to bring more feet to the street. And by creating a co-work space with capacity to up to perhaps 14 individuals, we think that checks a bunch of boxes at once. So we're pretty excited about it. It'll take us a while to do the proper due diligence and, zoning and code and funding and all that. But when we get an idea in our head, we chew on it. So it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Mark my word. And consider yourselves among the first to be invited to consider residents in that co-work when the time comes. Onward we go. We talked about Carrie and how amazing this new relationship is. We talked about Christina as our board treasurer and the fact that in 2020, if anybody's willing to be the treasurer of a not-for-profit, she deserves dinner and a glass of wine. And let's see. A subtle reminder that, yes, cheers to everyone at this table. And talk about, who wants a job like this in the middle of a pandemic. We have a hand, Chris Cole, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Cole um, who is one of the hardest working, most underthanked people I can think of. But and then I say, faster, more, please. And right now would be great. But anyway, he's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let me tell you otherwise.
And to you too.
Well, okay. Whatever. That's not a paid endorsement. You know, opinions expressed during this program are not necessarily the opinions of the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce. But in a moment, you'll have a word from our sponsor. But meanwhile, please, spring cleaning, New Year's resolutions, all that kind of thing, please go online, CanandaiguaChamber.com. If you don't have your login, Chris can get it for you because he can do anything. CanandaiguaChamber.com. Please make sure your business listing is current and correct, because we continue to get inquiries, perhaps from different audiences than we used to, but we get people from Buffalo to Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, Ithaca saying, I want to come to Canandaigua and I need to know what's open, what hours are they there, what are the restrictions, what can I be comfortable with, how should I behave, and what should I expect? So please make sure that you have the most current and correct information there so we can tell your story 24/7. Part of the magic of having a well-equipped website is we don't have to be there to answer the phone in order for them to get what they need from your chamber. Same thing goes for our events calendar, because even if you host something virtual, it belongs on the calendar. And friendly word of caution, if you built in something that may have a recurring component, please make sure that whatever's recurring is still recurring, because a lot of people and a lot of eyes rely on that for something to do. That's part of how some of you found tonight's opportunity. We're glad you're here. We're glad you reserved your place. We encourage you to consider the Rose Tavern if you haven't been before. It's a lovely opportunity. I didn't know till recently, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And while none of us love the fact that things are a little quiet right now, if you need to have a confidential business conversation, or you want to have a little romantic something, it's a lovely, quiet, very delicious place to spend some time. So, Mr. Production Manager, where do we stand? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we waited for, Ethan stopping talking. Well, sorry, there's going to be a little bit more of me in there somewhere. But in the meantime, thank you again, Christina, Carrie, Chris, all of you, and we'll see you in cyberspace. Hey friends, Ethan Fogg, Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce. Really excited you're here with us for what it's like dinner theater this year, our 111th membership meeting. Well, customarily we'd be crowded into a room together, about 300 of us. We're sharing this room with a bunch of great ideas and a bunch of great opportunities that will become more ours as the world lightens up. in the meantime, we're going to share an evening with some elected officials and share our customary business meeting, and the passing of the gavel, and some glimpses into the future, and some reflections on the past. So we're glad you're here tonight, and we're thankful to some people who've made this possible. Among them, Constellation Brands, Randall Farnsworth Auto Group, F.G. Rayburn Mason Contractors, Lions National Bank, Mengel Metzger Bar, Messenger Post Media. Oh, the show's going to start in a minute. The Pitti Group, Wealth Management, Canandaigua Federal Credit Union, and perhaps most importantly, folks just like you. So thanks for being with us. We appreciate your support. And together, we stand resilient. It's a long-standing tradition that our annual membership meeting is a dinner. That's why we're checking in at New York Kitchen and at your kitchen to see, if maybe you whipped something up for dinner tonight to have dinner with us, or if perhaps you called out or swung out to get something from one of our member restaurants in Canandaigua or the Finger Lakes. Please share images of what you're enjoying with dinner on our Facebook feed so we can share it with you. After all, we are having dinner together tonight, and we appreciate the FaceTime, if you will, for our member restaurants who've worked so hard, and for those of you at home who are impressing your friends. That's pretty cool too. And if maybe you're shy about presenting what you made at home, New York Kitchen, they offer cooking classes in addition to a full-service restaurant and special event catering. So keep that in mind. And they've been an important part of the Chamber really since they opened as New York Kitchen, and before that the Wine and Culinary Center. But my point about 2020 is they've been a crucial element in what I think of as Plan R. Most organizations have a Plan A and a Plan B for special events, and we had a Plan R for when we had to take things remote. And New York Kitchen has been incredibly helpful with both alfresco, and later in the fall, they were very helpful. See how too many Christmas cookies, long lock-in season. They were equally as helpful, if not more so, with our annual holiday mixture with Canandaigua National Bank. I had the privilege of frosting with Frank, and the mixture itself sponsored by Canandaigua National Bank, and a lot of fun considering we had to all do it in our own corners. But we all learned a little something about all of our VIP guests on that event. And we also learned a lot with 60 other guests to alfresco. Learned a little bit of how to cook, learned a little bit about craft food and beverage in our marketplace, and learned a little bit about perhaps what to expect next. Because that's getting harder than we thought. All of us daydreaming about what might come next in the Finger Lakes. We've run out of creative scenarios, and that's why at this point we're excited to hear from some folks who are connected in different ways than we are. On a state level, Pam Helming's going to talk in a moment. On a city level, Mayor Bob Palumbo is going to share, and on a town level, Kathy Manicotts is going to bring us up to date. So this is an opportunity for us to welcome our friends who are connected in different ways, and who quite possibly are either home making dinner or enjoying dinner somebody else made for them. And either way, most likely supporting our local economy through the acquisition of groceries or maybe something at the liquor store. to go with a pretty amazing meal. So please, we hope you're comfortable, and it's going to be not a long evening, but I hope it's going to be a full one for you. And like I say, please, comments in the comment stream, and thanks for joining us.
Hello, Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce members. Thank you, Ethan and Chris, for your tireless work to keep our chamber operating successfully over the past year. To our chairman, Sal Pitti, and members of the board, I'd like to thank you for committing your time and talents to serving the chamber and our great community. My guiding theme for this year is advancing our economic recovery. Whether it's our Main Street businesses, restaurants, manufacturers, or small companies, I'm committed to advancing legislation and policies that support our job creators. My focus is to reopen our businesses and get everyone safely back to work. I'm very excited to have the partnership of Jeff Gallahan in the New York State Assembly, and I'd like to thank Brian Kolb for his longtime service. I also appreciate the partnership of our town and city governments. Last October, legislation I sponsored in the Senate to transfer ownership of Ononda Park to the town of Canandaigua was signed into law, ensuring this beautiful natural resource is available to the community for generations to come. To all those who have contributed to the fight against COVID-19, our local healthcare heroes at Thompson Health, our frontline workers, our first responders and public health officials, I'm truly inspired by your leadership, and I thank you for your incredible service. Thank you to the local businesses that manufactured critical products in response to the pandemic, such as Select Fabricators and companies like Pactiv and Finger Lakes Extrusion that continue to innovate and grow to support vital industries and jobs all across our state. One important bill I sponsor is to make sure that employers like you do not pay more in unemployment insurance due to the closure during the pandemic. To our bars and restaurants that are among the hardest hit industries, I will continue to fight to reopen and support your businesses. I'd like to thank Simply Crepes, Casa de Pasta, and so many others who provided free meals to students. Then there was Central on Main, a great shining example of community spirit and collaboration. There were bright spots in 2020, including the opening of Frequentum Brewing Company, the expansion of Peacemaker Brewing Company, and the opening of the Lake House on Canandaigua. We must continue to work together and champion our tourism industry and preserve our greatest natural resources. Thank you to the Canandaigua Lake Watershed Association and the Lake Watershed Council for all of your hard work and efforts in this area. I'd like to thank Superintendent Jamie Farr and the Canandaigua School District for all you've done to support our students and families. Thank you to FLCC and Dr. Robert Nye, who was named co-chair of the new SUNY Veteran and Military Action Council. And to our nonprofit organizations, even while faced with greater challenges, you continued your critical work in the community. Gleaner's Kitchen, Literacy Volunteers, Family Promise of Ontario County, the Spot, the Salvation Army, and so many others. Thank you to every single citizen who has stepped up to support their neighbors and community. This time has reminded us what community is all about. On that note, I'd like to acknowledge the passing last September of a true Canandaigua champion, Mr. Canandaigua Byron Delavan, and again express my deepest condolences to his beautiful wife, Caroline. Their contributions are an enduring example to us all. There are significant challenges facing New Yorkers and our state, but we also have many opportunities to make the best choices for our residents and communities. Your input continues to be vital to our decision-making in Albany, so please reach out to me anytime to share your thoughts, concerns, and ideas. Thank you for all you do to advocate for and support the businesses and industries vital to Canandaigua and the Finger Lakes. I appreciate your investment, and I'm so proud to be your partner in government.
Good evening and welcome. It was a year ago I came before you with plans for a year that would have hotels opening, new restaurants, breweries, expansion of existing, and upgrade current businesses. I appointed committees to look into transportation system within the city of Canandaigua, and another to look into making Phoenix Street part of an outdoor dining area. Our committees did meet. Moving forward, things are looking very good for the city of Canandaigua. Then we started hearing rumors of virus on the other side of the world, away from Canandaigua. Then in March, the world came to Canandaigua and the rest of the country. Our vocabulary words start including things like COVID, Zoom, mask, social distancing, and who forget toilet paper shortages. With our local economy shut down, people dying, even more being sick and hospitalized, where do we go from here? Well, I've always been a half full guy. In Canandaigua being what it is, we're Canandaigua strong, and there's nowhere we could go but up and improve. Cannot say enough about this community, the way it stepped up to help. The burden put on our hospitals and healthcare workers, our schools having to shut down, teachers continuing to have to teach, our public works, public safety staff, city staff, all going above and beyond. Our restaurants, other businesses, and their employees figuring out ways to survive during the shutdown. There's so many to thank for keeping us moving forward in 2020 and on into 2021. I'd like to mention the work done by the local banks and accounting firms to help with businesses get their much needed PPP funds. To Denise Chappell, the BID, and the Chamber, the local LDC, for the work they did in helping local businesses. The United Way, and all the churches helping to help those in need. And all the other volunteers in the city that helped with the community needs. 2020 was notable in other ways. Passing of council member and local businessman Robert O'Brien was a shock to us all and a great loss to his family and to the city. We had two peaceful and in many ways eye-opening Black Lives Matter rallies. This led to the formation of two committees dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion in the Canandaigua area. One committee focused on housing and economic issues, the other on education. These have been very active committees, and you'll hear much more about them in the future. Currently, there is a committee working on a waterfront active transportation grant being led by Bergman Associations, looking among other things, traffic flow along Lakeshore Drive, the pier, and our never-ending issue of connecting downtown to the lakefront. Also, grant is being applied for to fund downtown revitalization, mainly second and third floor of current downtown buildings, along with the possibility of making Central on the Main a permanent public area. News of ongoing projects. Tom's Mobile site, still waiting to move forward. Factory 243, the Lisk building on Gorham Street, is pre-leasing now, and if you haven't stopped by or looked at their website, please do. It's an amazing transformation of that building. Pinnacle North Phase 2 should be starting in the spring, hopefully. And there are two new housing projects being looked at for Ward 4, the northeast part of the city. Work continues to be moving forward on the Labelon building. There are several issues there that need to be worked out. Hopefully they can be worked out and that project will move forward. Finger Lakes Resort is planning on opening this summer as well. Our city continues to grow. I've been asked hundreds of times as mayor in the last year, would I do it again if I knew what this year would look like? And the answer is always yes. This community is amazing. I've learned so much. I've met so many great people. And it hasn't always been pleasant. I've had hundreds of emails from when the pandemic began of family issues about abuse, visitation of their loved ones, and how to get needed services because of the pandemic. The public was very divided about the wearing of masks in public. Many calls called for the closing of the pier, Kershaw Park, as well as the other city parks. The mental health aspect of the pandemic were on the rise. These issues were things I never thought I'd have to deal with as mayor. We also had roaming bears in the city, and a kangaroo that became headlines in the news. To you, the business owners, we had established businesses that showed they could weather the storm. new and expanding businesses that move forward with their plans in sight of not knowing what was coming next. Central on Main was a great success, along with the new rooftop dining, sidewalk dining, brew pubs, and hotels, all a great success. Along with great community support, all of our retail businesses made what could have been a disastrous year for our city budget. We came away with slightly over a 5.5% tax increase. A couple of months into the pandemic, forecasts were for 20 to 25% deficit. So kudos to everyone for supporting our local businesses. I'd also like to, at this time, ask your help for one thing. Our state funding was cut by 20%. The state has received federal funds that should be passed on to the cities and the schools. When these cuts were announced, the state was in bad shape. They've now been in much better financial shape than when these budgets were announced. So if you could, contact your local state representatives, the governor's office, have them reinstate and release the funds that are badly needed by our cities and schools. Finally, city staff and city council this year, like no other, came together for the good of the community. Some tough decisions had to be made, and we moved forward. Now that the vaccine is available, I look forward to a decline in the pandemic deaths and illnesses and to a great 2020. I wear this yellow coat for a purpose today. Yellow is the color of hope. So I'm hoping for a healthy, safe, positive outlook for 2021. Thank you and have a great night.
Hello everyone, greetings from the town of Canandaigua. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for asking me to give an update on the town of Canandaigua and what's going on here, and I'm very happy to do so. I'm very sad that we can't do so in person, but really looking forward to next year when hopefully we will be able to get together and enjoy an evening of chatter and talking and just getting together, which I know we all miss. So without further ado, what's going on in the town? We had a lot going on. Like everywhere else, COVID-19 affected our town operations greatly, but with the help of all our town employees, including our highway, our transfer station, everyone that works at Town Hall, everyone who worked remotely, we were able to keep our operations going. As everyone else tried to figure out what to do this year, our town workers really stepped up to the challenge, and we want to thank them very much. I want to thank them very much for all they did. During the year, we were working on updating our comp plan. For those of you who are not familiar with the comp plan, the longer title is Comprehensive Plan, and it's a document that the town board and everyone involved in town operations looks to for direction for the future of the actions that we take. In the future, ordinances, things of that nature are guided by that plan, which is made by the people of the town in our town. So I'm very proud to say that we have had a lot of community engagement on that, and that plan is coming close to fruition. And look forward to you'll be able to find that on the town website very soon. There is a draft available now. And along those same lines with COVID-19, with each executive order, our town stepped up to the plate and made sure that we were operational, figuring out all the orders and how to enforce them. Kudos to our town for being able to do that. We also realized how important our parks are and our open spaces. We've always known how important they are, but they were utilized this year for obvious reasons, so people could get outside and try to do so safely. And in that vein, we're moving forward with our all-inclusive park, which will be on Outhouse Road. And we're excited to get moving on that as well, and hope to see a lot of developments on that playground in the coming months as the weather gets warmer. And we'll be doing a lot of the work ourselves. Well, not me, obviously, although I'd love to help, but our town workers, which leads to one of the other things going on, which is our water project, which we received a grant for. It's a multi-million-dollar project, much needed update to our tanks off of Kramer Road, as well as pump station, and our town workers have done a lot of work on that as well. So thank you to them in that regard. What else is going on? We're continuing to look at our ordinances and our codes to make sure that they make sense. We're working on an emergency plan for in the future if, God forbid, there's another pandemic. What we've learned now we could impart to future generations, and hopefully it will be a long time down the road, if at all. But things to be ready for. It's required by the state, but we've learned a lot in terms of what we need to be ready, and we hope to be able to impart that information later on. What else is going on? Oh, we have a lot of stuff. We're continuing to work on water quality issues with the Watershed Council. We had some harmful algal blooms over the summer with people using the lake a lot. It became of great concern, so we all share that concern and continue to try to solve those problems and work towards lake water quality. There's a lot more to cover, but I'm running out of time, so please feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'd love to talk to you about what's going on. I'm proud of the town of Canandaigua and the Canandaigua community and everyone in our neighborhoods, and it was very nice to talk to you this evening. Have a great night.
Thank you, Pam, Kathy, Bob, all of you who work and volunteer to keep Canandaigua safe, vibrant, and attractive. I feel like I should be singing some a cappella number. Canandaigua has a special place in the hearts of many. Through our long-standing relationship with CMAC, chamber staff and volunteers have met concert goers from all over the world, folks who've set aside other things to fund their bucket trip to Canandaigua and to the Finger Lakes. And I got to tell you, their excitement, the excitement of concert goers, is more infectious than COVID-19 ever will be. And I have to tell you, explaining to the patrons, the folks that had intended to come here for concerts or other activities in Canandaigua, explaining to them that 2020 was canceled was a truly emotional experience. As a 111-year-old face of business and industry in our community, we've seen our share of adversity. World wars, recession, depression, terrorism on American soil. And as a league of businesses committed to the success of our marketplace, we remain resilient because of the thousands of people just like you who call us their chamber. It's my pleasure now to introduce the 2020 Chair of the Chamber Board, Karen Dworzak, our 2021 Chair, Sal Pitty, and our 2021 Chair-elect, Michelle Pedzik. Karen, the floor is yours.
Greetings, Ontario County business community. Welcome to the Chamber's 111th annual meeting. My name is Karen Dworzak. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of PayQuicker LLC, a fintech financial technology company located in Rochester, and the 2020 Chair of the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce. I would like to call this meeting to order. The meeting is now called to order. And before I begin, please note our annual meeting reports were unanimously accepted by the members at a meeting of the Board of Directors on Wednesday, January 20th. As first order of business, I'd like to introduce our newly elected cabinet. Please join me in welcoming the following individuals as they accept their positions leading the Chamber's 2021 Executive Committee. Chair, Sal Pitty, President of the Pitty Group Wealth Management. Vice Chair, Michelle Pedzik, VP of HR for Canandaigua National Bank. Treasurer, Christina Stamatis, Partner at Mengel, Metzger, Bar and Company. Please join me as we welcome other members of our Board of Directors. Carrie Bush, Executive Director, United Way of Ontario County and Chair of our Not-for-Profit Committee. Bethany DeSanto, Director, Environmental Sustainability Program Engagement at Constellation Brands. Jamie Farr, Superintendent of the Canandaigua City School District. Mandy Hagedorn, Director of Marketing and Programming at the Lake House and Co-Chair of our Tourism Committee. Kurt Kozin, Chief Operating Officer, U of R Medicine, Thompson Health. Louis Nosey, Chief Advancement Officer, Finger Lakes Community College and Chair of our Resource Development Committee. Timothy Owens, VP of Operations at Tactical Construction. Carl Steinbrenner, owner of the Steinbrenner Law Office, LLC, and chair of the Canandaigua Local Development Corp. And welcome to the following new members of our board of directors. Matt Bragg, Vice President of Chrysantha Construction Corporation. Avi Friend, licensed realtor at the Friend Team and Keller Williams Realty. Krista Gleason, owner and principal of Gleason Rights. Michael Mills, founder and president of Vallejo PR. Tara Rego, VP and branch manager of Lions National Bank. Thank you also to the following members of the board of directors completing their term of service. We say goodbye to Jeff Friend, Senior Vice President, Lions National Bank. Andy Griffith, owner, Andy Griffith Team at Remax Properties. Chris Hubler, partner, Canandaigua Insurance Group. Thank you all for your service to our business community. I would also like to thank our staff, Ethan Fogg, President, Chris Cole, Membership and Operations Manager, and Alicia Everson, former Manager of Communication and Events. It was a privilege to serve as the 2020 chair, and I'm honored to address you today. I'll finish my comments by focusing on 2 words, and I'm wondering if you can guess them. Maybe 2020 sucked? Join now? Do more? Nah, my 2 words for our business community are thank you. Thank you for everything you do to make our community strong and vibrant. I could stand here and tell you of our strategic plan and how the chamber serves our member businesses and community, but you are the chamber, not the board, not the staff, but each business in the fabric of an amazing community. And you know what you have done to pull 2020 off. At the end of a tumultuous year, our hearts turn to those who have helped our community survive. Thank you. As I say these 2 words, it reminds me to be grateful. And that gratitude is for what we have, not what we don't, not what we want. It helps focus our thoughts on what we can leverage long-term for the common good of our business community in 2021 and beyond. Thank you again for the opportunity to serve as your 2020 board chair. And thank you again for all you do to make Ontario County, the town of Canandaigua, and our historic Main Street district in the city, a community like no other. Thank you also for our sponsored businesses and participants who supported our Business Inspiration Awards with over 1,800 views, Alfresco FLX, our annual craft food and beverage summit that welcomed guests from 6 states, Athena, who honored the voices of 35 years of Athena in Canandaigua this past November, and Canandaigua Local Development Corp, our ongoing collaboration between the city and town of Canandaigua on economic development, our educational and professional development programs with timely online modules that address the needs of our members and non-members alike, our new website at canandaiguachamber.com, and our inaugural edition of On Canandaigua, our annual lifestyle magazine showcasing Canandaigua as a destination. Finally, I wish Sal Pitty, incoming chair, the best of success in the year ahead. 2020 promises to be a better year than 2020. If not, it may bring all kinds of new horrible, but I know that we will get through this as a business community together. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Sal Pitty, 2021 Chair of the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sal Pitty. I am the president of the Pitty Group Wealth Management. We help people with their retirement planning, estate planning, business retirement plans, and other investment and financial planning matters. We have clients all over upstate New York, not just here in Ontario or Monroe County, but all over the country. And I am truly honored to serve as your 2021 Chamber of Commerce Board Chair. Look forward to working with our board and board of directors and chamber staff in the upcoming year to continue to bring more value to our membership. Luckily, I am here today at the Lake House Sandbar. Never been here before, but it is truly gorgeous, and they have allowed us to do our video at this fine location. And I'm truly hoping that all of you can visit here at some point after this pandemic is over and enjoy the beauty of our natural surroundings. Let me go on saying thank you to our past chair, Karen Dworzak, and thank you for everyone for virtually attending this evening. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Karen for her tireless energy as the chamber chair for 2020. As you may know, she's guided us through probably the most challenging time in the chamber's and community's history, and I'm glad it was her and not me. Thank you again, Karen, for your vision and your dedication. It is my honor to serve as your 2021 board chair. It's the Chamber's 111th year of serving our businesses, our community, and our over 500 member businesses and their employees. What a year to look forward to. Regardless of the pandemic, the Chamber has continued to reinvent itself thanks to technology and our loyal membership. In 2021, our focus is simply you. We want to help you reopen, re-engage, reconnect, and get reinvigorated about your business, the Chamber, and our community. We've been working hard behind the scenes on how to provide more value to our membership, to include things like human resource, insurance, employee benefits. We know that this is an area that small business struggles with, and we'd like to help fill that gap. In addition, we're going to leverage our physical assets, our building on Main Street, our technological assets, our website, and our promotional abilities to bring you more value in the years ahead. As you may know, our board members are part of the who's who in Canandaigua, and we're looking to get even more of the leaders in the community re-engaged. So how do you get involved? We have various committees and a new nonprofit foundation, and we'll need your expertise. We'll be reaching out, but if you have interest in public affairs, finance, tourism, nominating, golf, or ambassadorship, we'd love to hear from you. Please contact the Chamber and let us know that you're interested in getting involved. In addition, we're planning on continuing our work with the town and city as part of our partnership to promote economic development. Our partnership through the Local Development Corporation. Our members, location, staff, and volunteers make us key to promoting and elevating the needs of our local economy and membership. I want to thank you all for your support and membership and look forward to re-engaging with you in 2021 as this pandemic hopefully subsides. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Michelle Pedzik, and I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer at Canandaigua National Bank and Trust Company, and also the Chair-elect on the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I am broadcasting tonight from, well, my home office. Like many of you, I am working remotely in the safety of my own home due to the pandemic, which sometimes is great and sometimes it's not so great. That being said, I can't help but give a huge shout out to all of you day in and day out that are working out on the front lines with the public. Whether you are bank employees like tellers, you work in retail, you work in restaurants and bars, or you're nurses, doctors, first responders, infrastructure workers, educators, Department of Health staff members, or others that work directly with the public, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we salute you. We appreciate you. We respect you. Thank you. This leads me to my topic for this annual meeting on community and how we can achieve great things together. The pandemic has certainly highlighted how we can all rise above ourselves and do what is best for the community. Volunteerism has always been strong in our county, as demonstrated by the countless hours many of you perform giving back to the community in which we all live, work, and play. At the Chamber, board service and committee work is a central tenet of how we get things accomplished to support our members. We have an incredible staff at the Chamber, but we also rely heavily on committees to help us understand the needs of our individuals, businesses, and organizations in the region. Our committees include the Ambassador Committee, which reaches out to new, existing, and prospective members to understand their business needs. Our Public Affairs Committee focuses on public policy and advocacy. Our Tourism Committee, which brings together food and beverage, retail, and lodging businesses to determine how we can enrich the experiences of those visiting our region. Our Not-for-Profit Committee focuses on how these organizations can work together on common challenges, find support in each other, and leverage community assets. And finally, our Micro-Business Committee, which focuses on those small businesses with a handful of employees, really those solopreneurs. So, in the spirit of volunteerism, if you have even a little bit of extra time and are interested in helping out one of our committees, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to myself, Ethan Fogg, Chris Cole, Sal Pitty, or any member of our Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors to see how you can become involved. So to close, on behalf of the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for your commitment to helping our community thrive and grow. Be safe, and I really hope to see you in person soon. Thank you.
Hey friends, I think we've all heard the expression that art imitates life. I think it's fair to say that during 2020, life has imitated life, and sometimes it's been a rather poor approximation. But as part of tonight's event, we're going to be honoring some people and recognizing some pretty amazing service, not the least of which is from our board chair, Karen Dwarzak, who just completed her service, leading the chamber through perhaps what's the single most challenging year anybody who's alive today may remember. So during that year, as Sal noted, significant accomplishments regardless of the limitations in our marketplace. A new website, new On Canandaigua magazine, several successful virtual events, and a newly established 501c3 foundation. Considering how much of the year was spent in pause, that's truly heroic. Bravo, Karen. Thank you for everything you did for us in 2020. Welcome, Sal Pitty, our 2021 board chair. I look forward to a year oriented to recovery and reinvention, empowered by our strategic plan, enlivened by 5 new board members, and enabled by capacity building decisions like forming a special purpose foundation, reinterpreting our downtown workspace, and standing ready to deliver greater and more timely value than ever as we are poised to move into this future that, well, today it may look a little cloudy, but deep inside, it's looking pretty bright. And I'd also like to thank Michelle Pedzik, Chair-elect in 2021, as our human resources subject matter expert. She's helped us navigate the most human parts of 2020. During the pause, remote work, workplace safety, some days just helping us get by. Tough year for all of us, but it's committee work and volunteerism that makes any work easier, right? And it's how we continue to deliver value to 500 plus members in Ontario and 5 contiguous counties. Well, and they're brought to pause here because all the years I've been in this role, this event has happened at Finger Lakes Community College. We're here today, outside, fresh air, admittedly no mask, but we're standing at a distance. One more place that is a symbol in our community of reinvention, of capacity building, of strength in numbers. We're sorry that we're not convening here with 300 friends tonight, but they're with us. I know they are. We just saw Rob and Lewis a moment ago, and with any luck, they'll be joining us for dinner. Some other people I'd like to thank, you know, Alicia Everson, the face of chamber events for quite literally a generation. And when she announced her new opportunity, We were sorry for us, but we were excited for her. Her influence on our culture will endure. Chris Cole, literally the man behind the camera, in so many ways critical to the ongoing success of the Chamber, especially during these complex times, phase 2, 3, and 4, and as we've only begun to unpack the legacy that Alicia has established for our future, and as we've learned how to host virtual events like this one the old-fashioned way. I'd also like to thank Melody Burry. As a journalist, a photographer, and a critical thinker, Melody's influence on how we express ourselves as a chamber in print and online was fun a year ago. It's critically important today. And she is a volunteer. Selfless investment of time and talent, known as volunteerism, is central to the quality of life in Canandaigua and our Finger Lakes region. And that's why we've been recognizing the selfless and generous investment of people in our community through the Lifetime Achievement Award under perhaps different brands, different years, for the last 60 years. For longer than I have been alive, we have been recognizing people who give of themselves because they believe it's what they were called to do. The Lifetime Achievement Award honors a resident of Canandaigua for their selfless contributions to our community. Criteria for the award and a full list of those honored is available on our website at canandaiguachamber.com. Rather than identify any single honoree for 2020, we're conferring the award to the community as a whole. Most of us feel like 2020 was in fact a lifetime, and a great many of us have demonstrated kindness, generosity, and goodwill far above what could be expected of any individual. So congratulations, Canandaigua. A lifetime well lived in 2020. Now, a word from the award's sponsor, Lions National Bank.
Good evening, I'm Tara Rago, and I am a new board member for the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce Board. I work at Lions National Bank here in our Canandaigua location. 2020 has certainly been a challenging year. LNB is an essential business. We worked very hard at keeping our customers and employees' safety top of mind. I serve on the bank's Continuity Planning Committee, known as the Pandemic Committee, and LNB has put several measures in place, such as plexiglass, sneeze guards, hand sanitation stations, and mask guidelines. I'm happy to report that our lobbies are open and we are full service. LNB also understands how impactful this year has been for our small business community, and we are here for you. We have worked tirelessly through our lending team and credit departments with the support of all of our staff, assisting and successfully implementing over $116 million in business loans through the PPP CARES Act across the bank network. At LNB, it's all about people, and we pride ourselves on the WOW commitment of customer service exceeding expectations with every customer, every time. LNB is proud to sponsor the Chamber's Lifetime Achievement Award, and we look forward to this process of nomination in 2022. I'm proud to be a part of LNB and the Chamber of Commerce Board, and I'm looking forward to 2021 right here in the chosen spot. I hope everyone stays healthy and safe. Thank you.
Well, friends, we've broken bread together, we've counted our blessings, we've mused on some of our challenges, and we've shared some of our visions for 2021 and beyond. Thanks for being part of the Chamber family and having dinner with us tonight. Please stay safe, healthy, and best regards for a prosperous 2021. Good night.
It's ready for you.
Hi, I'm Steve Swartout, and this is the Pole Barn Brass, named the Pole Barn Brass because that's where we would wind up playing in order to keep appropriately distanced for COVID-19. And as you can imagine, as things got colder and colder, with brass instruments, that got to be a little dicey. Fortunately, Gordon Esty and the Finger Lakes, Fort Hill Performing Arts Center, fortunately, Gordon and the Fort Hill Performing Arts Center had this stage open, and they have allowed us to use it, which is great. Once again, we can stay appropriately distanced for COVID-19. Everybody's got a bell cover on, so we're not shooting any aerosols out into space, but it's allowed us to play, which we love doing, and it's allowed us to play every week. So we're very, very thankful to the Fort Hill Performing Arts Center for letting us perform. So once again, Steve Swartout, and
I'm Dave Hayden. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this venue and these people. They've helped me personally get through a tough time with this COVID thing. This is the only thing that I do. I barely go to the grocery store, and I look forward to this 2 hours that I have every week. It's more about friends to me than it is the music, although the music is sure nice. So I thank you very much. Louise?
I'm Louise Smith. We all are actually members of the Finger Lakes Concert Band. And I'll tell you, we feel so fortunate to have a place to play because nobody seems to be able to do that now. And it's a blessing for us because we just love our music, and playing is part of our lives. So to be able to have this, it's just been great. So we do have great appreciation to everybody here.
I'm Jim Orgar. They've already said what I might have said, but this is the highlight of my week, is coming here and playing with these folks.
I'm Jennifer Baxter, and they all said pretty much everything that's to be said, but we are truly grateful to be able to play in this gorgeous venue that's been sitting vacant and quiet for way too long.
This next piece is called Jurgens something that I can't pronounce, and I call it Jurgens lotion, but
it's the Jurgens Paulsen stomp.
See, we went to high school together, but this guy was always smarter than I. So.
Yeah, but I took French in high school.
Oh, I'm not sure this is French.
With no repeats.
No repeats.
1, 2.